teammates that I have in this room. This is going to be a quick press conference, and I'll get home sooner to finally see you on your birthday.
Wow. Way to make us feel great inside here.
So what do you guys got?
We'll get to it quickly then. What do you have for us on Teron Armstead?
So looks to be, I would say, weeks, not days. We have to kind of see how everything settles down, and then we'll be able to make a better prognosis for that timeline here, in I don't know, a couple days at the end of the week, by the end of the week or so. But I can say that he won't be playing in the next game, but he will be playing again this season.
So Kendall Lamb becomes the starter there?
Yes.
How did Kendall do last game, and how has he done all season?
So Kendall has done a tremendous job this season. What I did see him do a good job in this past game. I also did see a difference that he would attest to in when you're preparing all week to be the starter, or you're getting 20 to 30% of the amount of reps. That's the nature of the business for a lot of guys. When you aren't starting, you have to be your best version of yourself. So I think he kind of holds himself accountable to being as good if he's getting starter reps or not. So that's something that he can chew on moving forward, but have all the confidence he's played his tail off and is a huge part of our room. So I know nobody on offense has anything but confidence in his play and him being there.
What's the prognosis on Jalen Phillips, and was it a situation where he was this close to playing?
Yeah, it was one of those situations where, again, with Jalen, we have to be his best defense mechanism. I think him and I think the guys that barely didn't make the game, him and Connor Williams as well, will be stuff that we'll be trying to see guys practice, hoping that they can practice on Wednesday, and when they do practice that they can be good enough to go in the game, because they're big contributors, but we won't let them rush our process and panic after a one-game loss or a one-game losing streak.
And how did Liam Eichenberg do yesterday at center, did you think?
So, center's a funny position in terms of it is pretty remarkable that outside of one kind of snap that was kind of a lollipop, and he executed things that the only way teammates can actually perform is if he executes, and he did it with an ease that shouldn't be understated with regard to making calls. We didn't have any declaration issues, and to the snapping process, there was definitely some plays that he wishes he could have back, some that where particularly in pass pro, where he's kind of getting adjusted to the speed with which games happen, and then at the center position, the defender is literally right on top of you. It's you don't have the space like the rest of the linemen do between you, so it just happens a little bit faster. So there's a couple things that he will learn from and get better from. It was a solid first day or first game starting at that position, that the coaches want him to get better and learn from it, and I know he does too. So it was a good starting point to build from.
That was as much as we've seen Tua get hit, obviously, this season. How did he get through the game?
What's that?
Tua got hit. It seemed like more yesterday.
Oh yeah, no, he that's part of his it's a credit to what he's done this offseason. I think we've been able to avoid situations like that where you get in, part of that, and part of the hits are on the play caller who's calling more passes than runs. I think I probably in hindsight abandoned the run game to a degree too soon and gotten to put them in situations that they didn't need to be in. But overall, it was. I guess that's a I don't know, blessing in disguise that he did go through a game where you did get a little more contact, and he was able to come out with it strong and ready for the Giants.
Coach, I have a question regarding a stat that I'm not sure how they track this, but they said that 80% through the first 3 weeks, Tua threw to his first read. Yesterday threw to his first read just 50% of the time. I don't know how they track that, but just want to get your take on Tua's ability to progress through his first read and get to the second, third, fourth read.
No, I think there's, those games, you can't necessarily control that. There was sometimes, like in this league, offensively or defensively, if you are determined to take something away, they'll find a way. And there was multiple times that he did progress. A couple plays that were in clinic fashion. So those, particularly when you get into a one-sided game where you're behind a little bit and you're passing and getting a little off schedule, on first and second down, that can happen. You end up throwing the ball more, and that you become a little bit more predictable in that way. So we needed him to be able to progress. I think he did real well on some plays. There's a couple that I know, one interception and then the tipped ball that Jalen caught were progression plays that he would like to be better on for various reasons. So I was really happy with how he approached the game, how he executed a vast majority of things that he did. And then, the great thing about Tua is that you can, for me, in our relationship, I can just literally coach him on the things that he's not good at and don't have to worry about it making him worse, because he's going to use it all to make sure he improves moving forward.
Mike, did they do anything yesterday to take Jalen Waddle and Tyreek away from the offense?
Well, yeah, they. I think, like most teams, everybody has a plan for that, and generally, it involves either a complete coverage commitment or a double. And what happens is, that's one of the reasons why they are just as dependent upon the run game is the quarterback, is the offensive line. They're dependent on me to call a good game. And when you get in situations where you're behind and guys can kind of predict pass, they can play softer coverage that takes the ball away from you, outside the numbers with a corner and a safety, and then inside the numbers with sinking backers and such. So that's not something that we hadn't seen. We just hadn't. It's tough when you get into those situations and you're behind several scores to really dictate the terms the way that we like. And I think the Bills did a great job adhering to their game plan, and they didn't take anybody away with one or two individuals. It was a team commitment that when you keep 15-yard plays from being 30-yard plays, and you stop 12-yard runs and make them 3-yard runs, it has a residual effect that they deserve all the credit in the world for.
You guys have done. What did the film tell you regarding your defense's inability to contain Diggs yesterday?
No, I think I saw it was kind of what my gut was telling me after the game. Is I saw two plays directly associated with the technique and fundamentals at the point of attack by the corner. But then there was other plays that was a trickle-down effect from pass rush expectations on that play, from integrity in our pass rush plan, and whether or not we voided lanes for Josh Allen, one of the best in the league to do it, to make plays last longer and go off schedule, and those are, so it's a collective group of individuals that, to me, as I see it after the fact, after action, that had more to do with his stat line than anything else. Is guys not forcing the issue, guys not trying to make plays, guys playing team defense. That's what we need to focus on, what we will focus on moving forward.
You mentioned the decision to go for the 2-point conversion at that point of the game.
So it has to do with, with a lot of analytic talk that has to do with, the whether it was 11-point game at the time, and so you're trying to make it a 9-point game, and understanding that if you miss the 2-point conversion, your defense at least has to hold the offense out of the end zone regardless, and a field goal would just make it a 2-score game. So then you can kind of, it's kind of a tactical measure that, being down by 9, you'd be in a situation where you can score a touchdown and then win with a field goal, and knowing that the defense was going to have to stop them from getting in the end zone at that point anyway. So it doesn't hurt you as much. Some analytical talk that we discuss on a weekly basis, and that was the plan coming out of halftime.
How does that process work during a game? Does somebody from upstairs tell you after the touchdown what the analytics say, or you?
No, so this is something that they know. The guys that work with me on the analytics side know that I need time to properly prepare and make that decision, and it's more than just like the chart says. It has to do with a lot of things that are going on in the game, and in this particular instance, it was something that we discussed coming out of the tunnel after halftime, that, hey, we're getting the ball back. If we do go down and score, we would be pro going for 2. Here's why. And we had already discussed that scenario probably in the summer. So I knew exactly what they were talking about. And that gave me time. I thought, I guess it's kind of a shot at myself, but the play we called, I was thinking about the entire drive. So I thought it would work out. It didn't. So thus I'm talking about it on Monday, which is always the case, and that's the nature of the business. I will never run away from that fact.
Following up on Hal's question, what is your level of concern with how the defense has looked a month in?
Well, my foremost concern is that what I know to be fact, regardless, we are 3-1, and 2 of those wins came with, bottom line, the defense was on the field to win the game, so to speak, both in the Chargers and New England. So, like every season, first and foremost, I know nothing matters during the course of the season if you're not progressing and getting better. And my concern would be if what happened to us on this previous game, we didn't absolutely get better from, because I know the journey is long, and at the end of it, for the season to be worth anything, you have to be in big games and be at your best, and those things that happened on Sunday can't happen. So I have the utmost faith in the defensive coaching staff and our players, and I very candid and let them know that my expectation is that we aren't that team that continually does the same thing, makes the same mistakes. And then I really, really want to see guys come together in their journey and understand that not one player has to make a play on each play. I think there's some of that too, where guys have a high standard. They can feel during the game that it's not living up to their standard. So, all right, well, I'm going to go get I'm going to go strip the ball from this ball carrier, and then not get the ball carrier down, and that leak for 7 more yards. Things of that nature of guys just trying to make a play. They need to the entire locker room. They need to really come together as a group, and we need to, as a defense, play better team defense. And that's the great thing about this game. There's nowhere to hide. So like, it is what it is, and that doesn't bother me. You get beat 48-20. You should know coming into the building that things have to get corrected, and that's not to our standard. So I think we're on that process. I think the meetings have been good today, and we'll see what that brings forth on Wednesday.
Any other message?